JAG is considered part of CTE. The CTE director kind of deliberately made it that way. So JAG classes are often in CTE classrooms, and the CTE teachers are charged with ensuring that the students are on pathways. And if they're not, then they work to improve those pathways. Transition eligible state JAG students to the WHEEL program. Because many of the JAG students now are state funded, we feel it's prudent to wait until it's completed and then enroll them in WHEEL so they can get the older youth benefits or adult program benefits. And we want to increase their enrollment by 10% every year. We started out with 67 in-school youth when this last program started. Sheila got 170 out-of-school youth enrolled her team last year. So that's almost threefold that increased our out-of-school youth program. And when she told the staff that the goal was to increase it by 10%, they were like, these they were intimidated. They were happy to hear that. And then we also want to ensure that the youth, and again, this is for all youth, but especially out of school, this goal, the ISS goals, and then you might put the next one, to encourage completion of their education. It's especially important with out of school youth because they come to us so disconnected, disenfranchised, and so they really need the extra help to get these things done. In Region 7, these are our last performance measures for JAG. All of our in-school money goes to JAG. We have reached that 505 every year since the state's been eligible for 505. And 7 programs, 240 students. And we did a lot of outside funding. The $2,000 State Farm, that was for Sullivan. The students got a grant to help build a program about no texting and driving. So that was a great benefit to the school. We had a member of our board from Fifth Third Bay. She donated $3,000 to the JAG program because she saw the benefits. And then we had $10,000 from H&R Block. And that was from Sullivan also. They have, for 2 years now, I've received $5,000, and that is from financial literacy. They're in a competition, and this is hard to read, but it's literacy. And obviously and this is, depends on the need too, but it's an estimate. We have, of course, a 20% for paid work experience, which could be more, but that's mandatory. 25% for supporting services, and then you can see the other items. We had to throw some youth in here. This year we were able to use our incentive funds to do summer camps to try to keep the kids engaged throughout the summer months. And this was an entrepreneurial camp. It's great because, again, it's one of the new elements. We partnered with Courtney Ritchie, who's head of the Small Business Development Center. She created a great camp. Kids were awarded certifications from the camp in terms of they worked on teams. They identified the company that they wanted to create. And of course, that takes a lot of real labor market research, not just looking at facts and figures. They learned farmer table etiquette. It's actually going to school or you're going into business. You have to have etiquette so that you can educate people. And they spoke with a lot of local entrepreneurs. And then at the end of the camp, they presented their proposal to kind of a Shark Tank style setting where they had people from business in Park County and in Sullivan County come and judge them and ask them questions. And it was really fun time. They also, the speed dating is okay. The speed dating on the next one. Go ahead. On the left, we call it speed dating. They, in both cases, nothing to say. She actually had to push them along. So it's a pleasant surprise. They were very engaged. And you can see there on the right, the kids doing their presentation. Again, they got into a lot of detail. I was very impressed by the thoughts put into this. Another camp we had was the CNC machinist. I detected this. I thought the shifts were huge for that. This camp has driven a lot of kids who never knew about CNC into the program. We have one young lady 3 years ago took the CNC camp. She loved it. She got on that pathway. She got every certificate available before she graduated. And her business was courting her, but she's an architect right now. She's going to do 2 years there, and she's going to go to ISU and become a technology teacher.
Nice.
So, just great exposure for kids. The Health Careers Camp, that was through AHAP, where we're in partnership with them. And again, it's not just doctors, nurses. You can see they had EMTs, and they got CPR. That's a infant CPR type on the right. Child camp, food service, food's largest sector, so we had a child camp and the kids like that too. Also, they got their ServSafe certification. And so in Terre Haute, when you have a ServSafe certification, you get $10 more an hour. So it really paid for these kids to get that. That was fun to check. And then in Vigo County, we have a big robotics program there. So we have a robotics camp. We have a partnership with Yakava, Motorman. We are the only merited site in the state. We had 7 students who got certification in FFS 100, which is material handling. So Sony, GE, there's just tons of manufacturers who use this. So that was a great camp too. And then how we evaluate, we monitor, we gather information, we evaluate the budgets and the outcomes, and then adjust our strategies. And actually, we have written reports that come out monthly about all our programs, and then we actually meet once a week as a leadership team with the board staff, with Sheila, and with the state performance manager. So we always know what we're doing, and we're all staying with our goals. Our standing committee, the executive committee, which is made up of the chairman of the other committees, plus our officers, personnel committee, personnel committee. It's starting to get hot again. Oh, well, I can tell you. We also, besides the executive committee, we have personnel, we have a planning committee, we have budget and finance, and then we have a subcommittee, which is the council committee, and they kind of work into the planning committee.
How do you follow those students after the camps to see if they are interested in that career pathway, or are you just looking at exposing them to all? And then my other question is, how do you determine what kind of camps you're going to offer?
Well, how the camps we offer, we look at our demand sectors, and so we work around that. All those are related to our demand sectors. Down at the dealership, of course, we identify a new element. If you, their specialists are referred to the camp that they attend, so they have discussions with them afterwards. And also the older youth are especially encouraged and involved this year, maybe that's a pathway that they would want to continue. I don't know if you have a better answer or anything else to add to that.
I think it's just based upon the need of the youth. We did the CHOP camp because a lot of the kids, even if they're going into post-secondary, need some type of employment. And this was a way to get them a certification in, again, stackable activities.
And I don't want to take up too much time, but one thing that I thought about the camps, we have kids from DOC who leave and they don't engage right away. Perhaps if they leave in May and they can't enroll in school until the end, or so they have this whole summer to get in trouble. So it would be a great way to try to engage them. So I just think that it's a super idea.
Thank you. That's good.
It's a day camp, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's an entire week. They don't spend the night.
So do you offer the camp like is it at Terre Haute, and then you transport kids from other areas to it?
The camps, we had the manufacturing robotics that was also offered in Clay County. The entrepreneurship was offered in Sullivan County and Clark County. So we try to spread those out as much as possible. And also we have in the past too had camps with labor unions, with local 157 common considered, and also the electrical workers 725. And we had many kids who would get into the apprenticeship through those camps.
Great idea.
Thank you very much. Okay. Here. Region 10. Oh, I'm standing in the back right there.
Good morning. My name is Ron McCullough, and I work as the director for the Region 10 Workforce Board. And I'm here on behalf of our board and Work One, Southern Indiana, and our youth services team to present to you. I feel like I'm in good company with the folks that have presented before me. And part of what I hear time and again is the value and the need for community partnerships. So I do want to share our aspect of that with you. I have one copy of our work experience boot camp that you can browse through while. Yep, we're good. We've created, it's getting some traction and attention as part of what we do. Also to say that on behalf of the continuum of regions that compose Indiana, the 12 regions, we all have generally the same scope of work, and we follow the elements of WIA and WIO with our youth services. But the scaling is different based on the resources that you can bring to bear in your region. Our region, like Region 7 and 8 and I think 11, get less dollars based on the federal formula. So the scale of what we do is different. Having said that, when I see what 7, 8, and 11 are doing, I'm impressed. One of the things I and share with our youth team and our board back home. So let's move on. The vision for Region 10, which is, we all know where Region 10 is, right? That generic word, Region 10.
Down by Clark County?
Yes, we are the southern Indiana, the southernmost part of Indiana in the center, and we're part of the Louisville metropolitan statistical area.
Okay,
So we share common ground with them around the labor market
okay.
in a pretty abiding way that has more advantage and benefit than anything else. And it's part of where we are, how we live, and how business is conducted. And there's also this over $2 billion project called the Bridges. And as great as the bridges are, and as many decades as it took to get it done, what's really on people's mind right now is, oh my gosh, I'm going to be paying a toll in 6 months, which is understandable. When we look at the vision for our board, and I like to underline and do that sort of thing to catch key words, is that the board aims to serve as a catalyst to just basically develop the workforce so that it's competing successfully in our neck of the woods in this 21st century global economy. And we all know there's been no economy like the one that we're in now, whether you're in region 7, 11, 1, 2, 10, doesn't matter. Our mission is to advance the growth of the workforce, especially through workforce resources that we have and that we can garner more of, and especially through community and business partnerships. And that comes across loud and clear like a banging drum across all the presentations that you're hearing and seeing today, and hopefully we're no different. We have 4 basic goals or pillars. Whether you call them strategic priorities, goals, or pillars, you know what I'm talking about. And there are 4 items that abide for us. And the key to this is that regardless of how you word it, those priorities tend to not change. What changes is how you can get at them in the region that you live in and with the stewardship that you can bring to bear upon things. So for our first goal, because it is our cornerstone, is to have as best a Work One regional service system as we can that serves both the variety of job seekers that are out there. You can name them by specific populations, but I think you know what those populations are. Under WIOA, there is increased emphasis on serving the people that have barriers, significant barriers, including the phrase of most vulnerable. And aspects of all the work that we do with youth services is connected back to this. So when you look at those aspects from the Indiana Career Council's plan, they coalesce very well, and I suspect they do in every region, back to our Work One, front door, come on in, local access, direct services to job seekers and businesses, operations in our region. So we do align things systematically, and we are growing that and trying to cohere it more under WIOA and the emphasis on a new partners or a new and better partners, one-stop partners network than has existed before. And I suspect every region is doing that. We're taking that to heart. We're meeting on a very regular basis. And I think that what we're trying to take out of this is that, you know, what we did under WIA sufficed, but this is a new day and more is expected of us as a one-stop partner network. We expect that of ourselves, and that includes what we do with at-risk youth, the youth that we serve. Our services are person-centered or customer-centered, and they focus generally on cultivating the individual's talents, the persons that we serve, one by one, towards that in-demand career in a family-sustaining wage. And you've heard that kind of phrasing here today. It goes well for us also. And all that we do is focused on knowing what our sectors are, knowing what employer demands are, having good data and good employer inputs around that for sectors that are identified, and they're identified from an MSA by-state point of view. We look at it both as region-specific and as the MSA, and it dovetails. It simply consistently dovetails. And those sectors are manufacturing, healthcare, transportation, distribution, and logistics, information technology, construction, and professional and business services. You could almost call them the usual suspects. But that's what the data shows. All these sectors are primary drivers, they're in demand, and there's a wide range of occupations and growth prospects towards that career and family sustaining wage. And the content for these okay, the other goals are here on our one page here. Increasing educational attainment with every customer that we have, as well as that shoe can fit on an individual level, with that customer making a good informed decision with a good deal of career guidance and exploration, things that you've heard from other regions already. We do those things also. Our third goal is with economic development. We do provide assistance to them, particularly in terms of business expansion and business attraction projects. But there's more to it than that, which I'll share with you in a moment. And specifically, goal number 4 is about youth and career preparation. And there's two parts to this. One is specific to really the script that we have today. And the other part has to do with how the board will use its influence and its knowledge to partner with youth or student career prep activities throughout the region. We've got 15 school systems, and we endeavor to have connectivity with all of them, some more than others. And this is what I want to speak to off script for a couple of minutes, because it's important to share with you. It's those aspects of partnership that others have brought back that have been shared with you today. First, we do almost every year what we call a Youth Career Expo. And that is for high school students, especially 8th graders, but it can be juniors, seniors, whoever the schools want to bring. We host it at our main Work One Center. We convert the entire site into employer booths, post-secondary institution booths, that sort of thing. We have a passport model that each of the kids go by. So those are certain parts, there's certain aspects of their journey during the Career Expo that they engage in. We use the entire facility. We can, because of prior investment by us and DWD together, to build a rock-solid, very functional Work One Center that we can use for more things than we ever could have used our center for in our old facility as of 5 years ago. Our last Career Expo, we had 9 to 15 schools attend, 350 kids, about 40 employers, and then post-secondary institutions. I wish I had pictures of it to share with you, because I'm the photographer and I love to do that. The place is loud, bustling, folks are engaged. Secondly, this year, we did for the first time a high school job fair with the largest high school. We did it on a regional basis. It was at Jeffersonville High School, where we also have one of our 2 JAG programs. And we had at least 50 employers there. A couple of hundred folks attended. It was from 4 to 7. We're probably going to change things up next year, working with the high school, so that this mainstream effort attracts more individuals. But we have a good baseline for that. And there's a number of other things that we're doing with Jeff High School and Greater Park Schools that I'll get to. Junior Achievement. Last year, we participated on a scouting exhibition to Mobile, Alabama for their Worlds of Opportunity Career Fair, which is are any of you familiar with this?
Junior Achievement?
And the one in Mobile, Alabama?
I haven't heard about this one.
Okay. The workforce board down there does this in conjunction with other entities, so it is not the lead on it. They use their entire civic center and arena, have a host of different employers there that really roll up their sleeves and bring in serious equipment that the kids can interact with. It's very engaging stuff. When you just see what they've done with the hospital employers there, it's amazing in terms of the square footage and the things that the kids can see and handle and talk with physicians and surge techs and nurses and what have you. And they do this with probably 12 different industry sectors, thousands of kids. So what we did in the southern Indiana area and in the Louisville area was work it through junior achievement. They were willing to take the lead on it. God love them for doing that. And we had the first one this year, again, at Jeffersonville High School. And again, it was regional. And it's called JA Inspire, so we have a baseline for that also.